Well, well, well. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Hello, Garrett.
Howdy.
How are you, pal?
Oh, another day in paradise. It's been storming up
Oh,
here.
storming?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't miss that. It's one
It's
thing I
almost
don't
like
miss
a
is the weather.
it's
What's
like
the
a
temps
hurricane
like?
up here.
Really?
No, it's not. I'm just making the joke.
Just raining, cloudy. That
Yeah.
bullshit. Yeah. That sucks. Oh my god, dude. Sorry, we're about 40 minutes later than we usually go because the Tigers playing an afternoon playoff baseball. First time in a decade they've been playing playoff baseball. I've been literally texting with Drew for the last 3 hours. Just it's there's no one better to text with than Drew during baseball postseason. He knows his shit, and so yeah, coming down to the wire. Holy fuck! I know. I was like, man, maybe we'll just go. It started the ninth. Tigers up by 3. We're good. And then that would have been 20 minutes ago.
Yep.
And then it was just like, no, why don't we get an out or two under our belt? And then it was just like, I'm texting with Drew, and it's like, oh shit. And then we get down to this. It was just crazy, but they pulled it off. They needed to win this game, but it's going to be like that for most of the week, as 3 games, all starting at 2:30 in the afternoon, which is totally ideal for Metro Detroit people. That
My
it's not like
coworker left
works.
halfway through the day just to go to Comerica Park and watch it on a big screen.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, he's like,
I would not
I'm
be
not
doing
missing
that.
shit. No,
Yeah,
he does not miss.
No, there's something that's really, really exciting about, when your teams are decent, when they're good, when when the Tigers have been on a historic run. I haven't paid all that much attention. I'm a football guy.
Yeah.
That's my jam. So I can watch, but there are some people that can watch, 2 teams they don't care about just because it's baseball. That's kind of getting more and more rare. But when your teams are in it, it's a whole different thing. And the Tigers have just done this incredible thing with, no superstars, no 100 ribby guys, and they've won 30 out of 40 games or something. It's just crazy the run they've been on.
Just a good team.
And
Nobody special.
yeah, it's one of those runs. Can they go the distance? Who knows? I doubt it. But just getting in and being the youngest team in baseball, I think they are, is really exciting. And they got everything thrown at them in that 9th inning, and to hold up is just awesome. It's awesome to see. It's going to be fun for the next couple days, and they really needed this first one with their ace on the mound. I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure people that care watched it, but there's just, I was talking to my brother earlier about it, and there's something really special about playoff baseball. There just is. Like baseball, I that's one sport I like going to the stadium and to watch more than anything. That like just sit back, have a couple beers in the sun on a sunny summer afternoon, evening is awesome. It really is. More so, I don't want to do that with football games anymore or anything like that. But baseball, it's a slowed sport. It's slowed down. It's fun. But something about playoff baseball is just totally different than the regular season. Every pitch matters. Every at bat matters. Every inning matters. It's just you can get into it really quick. I couldn't believe how fast it was. Like sweaty palms, feverish texting. Like holy shit, are they gonna? It's just, and I can see it already. It's like, well, as far as this team goes, is as far as I'll go.
No, I know
Anyway,
I'm not a big sports guy, but anytime Detroit's winning, I'm cheering them on.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's that pride.
It's been a minute, and those that are from the area or have followed these teams know what the fan base is like. Like there's so many cities where your team sucks, nobody shows up, no one cares.
Yeah.
Lions fans, that's just not the case. They sold out the stadium regardless. It wasn't filled with opposing cities fans usually. I mean, unless there was like a really hot Green Bay team, and you'd get quite a bit of them. But for the most part, those fans live and die by those franchises: the Wings, Tigers, Lions, Pistons. When they do something, and it's exciting for the whole city.
I feel like we're the only city where you see people walking around with the old English D tattooed on them all the time. It's very common. I don't really see that for any other city in the U.S.
Yeah. I've thought about getting one of those. I mean, dude, that
too.
logo is awesome. That logo is awesome. It really is. So it's exciting. Even being here in Phoenix, It's crazy how much Michigan, Detroit, Lions, Tigers emblems you see around here, and in Texas where I just was. You see a lot
That's
of
awesome.
that, in the airports, in the restaurants, you'll see
we all have a lot of pride, but we know we need to get the fuck out.
Yeah, it is almost like that. Like, G texted me a little while ago. He was upstairs, but he's like, God, it sounds like there's a lot of Detroit fans there. I'm like, dude, you got to understand. I mean, he knows. I'm like, Michiganders have bolted. A lot of them have left, the cold, whatever, and they've gone to Phoenix. They've gone to Texas. They've gone to Florida. A lot of people. So it's not uncommon. It's just commonplace now to see, but it's really exciting. We wanted to do a show yesterday. Garrett and I tried. I couldn't even make a Facebook post yesterday. Like, I took a screenshot of us attempting to do a show yesterday, and it just kept kicking us out. It kept crashing. So whatever was going on, I thought it was Verizon, and then I read a story about AT&T was all fucked up too. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've got Verizon here, but we couldn't get a stable connection at all. It appears to be, we were even going to record and not go live and just try to get something in the can that we could post right after the show. And it just wouldn't work. So we shut it down yesterday. And today it was like, well, let's get through the Tigers game and then we'll go live. And so here we are. It's been a minute. I took off after last Tuesday's show and spent a few days in Dallas doing a Normal World out there with friend of the show, Dave Landau, Quarterback Garrett, Angela. Had a lot of fun. I fucked that up though. I really did. Cause I always fly Delta.
Okay.
And so, anytime I left Detroit, I'd go to the Delta, we're a hub there. And so I'm just used to that. It's where my miles are. And so I was looking at flights from Phoenix to Dallas, and I'm like, oh, okay. I guess they don't have any direct flights. Whatever. Okay. And I booked the flight and so I had to route through Salt Lake City there and back. And it made it a full fucking day of travel instead of just hour and 45 minutes.
Yep. Like when I got flown from Chicago to Detroit, I was like, I don't know why you guys threw me on a plane. It took more time to get through the airport than we were in the air.
Yeah. That's the catch-22. It used to be you could just walk in through the airport, whatever, security was nothing. But after 2002, September 11th, it changed everything. And now it's like
2001.
Yeah, 2001. I'm sorry. Yeah,
you're good.
2001.
Never forget.
Yeah,
never forget.
Fucked up. It sounded fucked up as soon as it came out of my mouth. That's funny.
No
but yeah, dude, it's like that's the thing with Chicago. It's like that 5-hour drive, 4.5-hour drive, whatever, is like it's a coin toss now as to whether you're just better off hopping in a car and doing it or, doing the airport thing. But anyways, so I went to Salt Lake City and it ended up taking all fucking day to do. But then my brother was like, why didn't you just fly direct? I'm like, yeah, you think that wasn't my first option? He looked up American Airlines and it was like every hour on the hour direct flight. It's just an idiot. But at that point it was already booked. I don't know what I was thinking. And so it ended up holding my
it's
time
a brand
up.
loyalty.
Yeah, I guess. It's just a Detroit thing. I'm so used to, going out of McNamara, going out of the it's got its own hub now and it's a major hub for Delta. And so I'm just used to flying Delta, and I dealt with that a little bit going to San Francisco where it was better for where my family was to fly into San Jose. It was like a 15-minute drive to the house versus San Francisco proper and then having a 40-minute drive. And so, but that required a stop in Salt Lake City, but it was no big deal. It was just, but this one was like a fucking try. It was ridiculous. But I made it, had fun with those guys out there. It was cool when I got to the studio and saw they were taking me back to my dressing room, if you will. There's a shitload of them for whoever's in the building, and you find out Roseanne Barr is in the green room next to me.
Yep,
with her name on it. Yeah, do you have the picture there?
I do. Yeah, hold on.
You can pull them up. Don't pull them up. Whatever. But yeah, it was funny though because if you watched Normal World, and you can go on YouTube, search Normal World. It was the show we did Thursday evening, and it was a lot of fun. Good show. But we filmed this slap sketch where I get to smack a bitch, which was kind of cool. Yeah, so that was the room right next door to mine, Roseanne Barr.
Yep.
There, and I'm like, wait, today's the 26th. Wait, today's between 10 and 1. And so we're trying to get into stage 19 there, where Glenn Beck was recording that episode he did with Roseanne Barr. You could take that down, Garrett.
Yep.
Yeah, there's in the studio. If you're watching us on YouTube or anything like that, you can see pictures, but that's inside their studio. There's Garrett on the right and Dave Landau on the left. But from last time I was there, people may remember that Glenn Beck has this incredible like art collection, and I mean he's got, outside of the Library of Congress or whatever, he's got like the most historic, like as an individual, documents of anybody.
I'm jealous of his collection.
Original copies of shit. Like, it's crazy. But one of the things he also has is the entire set of All in the Family, the sitcom, like the front door, the desk, Archie Bunker's chair, like the whole thing. And he's got it set up in that stage 19. If you pull up the picture of Roseanne and Dave standing there, I think you could see the big stage behind them, or the door anyways, to what I'm talking about. And I didn't send you any pictures, but last time I was there, I took a bunch of pictures of the All in the Family set.
Yeah.
So see right behind Dave, stage 19.
Yep.
Those double doors there go into a big room, and in that room is Glenn Beck's set, which is massive soundstage. I took pictures of that last time I was there, so whatever. But they wouldn't. We didn't go in there. I mean, we could have walked in there, but it would have just been rude because Glenn was wrapping up with Roseanne at the time, and it was like, okay, we wanted to go film this. Dave and Angela wanted to film this slap sketch that we did. If you watched the show, you saw it. And we couldn't go in there because they were fucking around in that room before they came out to the main area there, and they were hanging out at the All in the Family set. And I think Glenn was playing the piano and was singing the theme song to All in the Family, and Roseanne was singing the Edith Bunker part.
That's cool.
And Glenn was singing the Carol O'Connor Archie Bunker part, doing the na 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 na. And so we had to wait for them before we could go in there. Everyone wanted. It's so funny. It's just so funny. Like, these are people, and I remember this at the radio stations over the years. Anytime someone of note came in, it was just a big deal. It was a big deal for staff. Like, the amount of celebrity worship we have in this country, and
I'm guilty of it.
Oh, we all are, though.
Yeah.
Even celebrities get around other celebrities and are like, oh shit, that's so and so. Like, the biggest stars in the world see another celebrity and they're like, oh fuck, that's so and so. Like, it's kind of crazy how that works. There's something about us as humans. So when Roseanne came out, it was just like, here are a group of people that do this for a living. They do talk shows for a living. Like, and they're like, oh my gosh, should I ask her for a picture? And I'm like, yeah. What's she going to say? No. And if she does, okay, that makes the story even better.
Yeah, like Roseanne just fucking rejected me for a photo, that bitch.
Roseanne told me to fuck off. Like, who cares?
She called me a monkey or something.
So yeah, Angela really wanted a picture. Who is I won't say her last name, but Angela from Normal World. She's the producer, on-air producer for the show, but she really wanted one, and we were, and Roseanne is just fucking. Roseanne doesn't give a shit. So Roseanne, people are like, "Hi, can I get a picture?" And there's only like 10 people there. I mean, there's no one there. It's Glenn Beck's team, and then the Normal World team, and then a couple stragglers. That's it. And she's like, "Fuck off! I'm having a smoke first." Literally, she's telling me, she's like, "Fuck you! I'm not doing shit till I have a smoke. I need a smoke when we're done. Fuck off!" And and it's exactly what I totally forgot that I don't know why, but I totally forgot that I was at the final Roseanne episode taping, and when the show was decent, back in their original run. And that's what I remembered from Roseanne is they have the warm-up comic, and I don't know who that was at the time. I'd probably know now. It's probably like Jim Gaffigan or something. But back
it's
then,
somebody huge now.
Someone huge now. Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Bill Burr.
Right. I think I've heard who Roseanne's opener was, and so a comic would come out and deal with the crowd for 15 minutes before they start filming. Yeah. And it's a long day when you go to one of those filmings. And so it was like, ugh. But Roseanne comes out, and it was the first person I remember, because at the time saying cunt was a really big deal. That was a really big no-no. And I remember her dropping C-bombs like crazy in front of this like family audience, obviously not for the show, but just like, talking to everybody there and in the crowd and and whatnot. And it was nice to see that nothing's changed with Roseanne, where it's like, can I get a picture? And she's like, fuck off. I'm having a smoke first. And she just laughs. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah. She's
but
being
then,
Roseanne.
Yeah. But then you go outside and she's having her smoke, and like we all go outside, and Angela's like, yeah, I really want to. I go, just go fucking ask her for a picture. What's the big deal? What's she going to say? No? Like, and then she's funny. Like, I don't know. And I go, Roseanne, can you take a picture? She goes, sure. I'm like, I'll take it for you. Here, give me your camera. And then I took the picture. I think I sent you.
Yeah, it's right here.
Of Angela and someone else.
She looks so nervous.
Yeah, that's her in the back, right? So Roseanne was really sweet when we were outside, but I really wanted a picture with Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck, he's a broadcast legend. Whether you agree with his politics, because I've already had more than one person be like, Glenn Beck, isn't he that monster? You're like, yeah, okay. Yeah, Tell me you've never listened to Glenn Beck before without telling me. Like, it's just such irrational thinking. Like, isn't that the guy that, and they just parrot whatever someone has told them about someone that disagrees with them politically. But Glenn Beck is a fucking legend. And I think his voice is one of the important ones right now. I really do. And I was really hoping, because Roseanne's like, you want a picture? I was like, sure. And then I said, Glenn, will you get in the picture? And he was like, absolutely. And he was really, I was hoping he wasn't going to roll his eyes or be like, fuck. You really hope that people aren't going to be dicks, and you're just going to be like, I put someone out.
You think Dave's sitting there like, why is he getting a picture with my boss?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think Dave and Glenn are doing the debate show tonight.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. So after the show, Dave and I went out to TJ Maxx. Dave was driving me back to the hotel, and he's like, hey, do you want to hang out for a little bit? I was like, sure. Yeah. What are you thinking? He's like, I got to go to TJ Maxx. There's one right by your hotel. I was like, okay. And he's going through the fucking, like,
you went on a little date.
We went on a little date and hung out. He bought me some jelly beans.
Hell yeah.
And he's like, you want anything? And I was like, yeah, this bag of jelly beans. And he's like, all right. And but he's going through the discount rack, and he's looking at blazers that are in cardigans that he can wear on tonight's episode with Glenn Beck, that he's doing the debate thing. And if you see him in the brown cardigan, I think it was $24 that he spent at TJ Maxx on that outfit. He's like, yeah, these guys are all going to dress up. At the time, he's wearing a Boblo Island t-shirt. So he's like, I don't think I should wear this. And I'm like, you're just telling jokes, man. You're just fucking around. Like, what does it matter? But so, yeah, he did not go to some high-end athletic or high-end clothing store. No, he went to TJ Maxx and bought some cheap-ass blazer and dress shirt that was like $12 or something. So, but a lot of fun. And what you don't see do you have the picture of me and Glenn and Roseanne? Yeah. Right. What you don't see in that picture. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the picture. Glenn's a big dude, tall. I mean, just behind Glenn and off to the right in this picture, stage right, is a $400,000 Rolls Royce Phantom.
Holy convertible. Shit.
Yeah. Like no bullshit with a fucking driver in it. So I'm like, that's Glenn's car, isn't it? And they're like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was so jealous because when Roseanne was having a smoke outside, she was kind of talking to everybody, and she's like, "I can't believe this, this this collection Glenn supposedly has." And so she was going to get the tour. Glenn was they hopped in his fucking Rolls Royce, and they were going off to. She was really excited to get a tour of his all his collection.
Yeah.
And I get Angela was telling me, I said, God, I'd love to see that collection. She goes, well, next time you come here, we can book a time and go over there and you can see that stuff. But I can't remember. I used to remember what he's got, but I want to say it's like shit like the Constitution and shit. Like
close to it. He has like actual handwritten letters from like John Hancock to other people and stuff.
Right.
George Washington and shit.
Lot of that stuff. Lot of Abraham Lincoln. Like,
yeah, like real handwritten, signed everything.
I think there's like 2 copies, original copies of like the Declaration or like something along those lines. And he has one of them. Something along those lines. I can't remember exactly. Don't quote me on that, but it's something crazy. So yeah. And then the other thing I'll say, and I went to the my hotel, and I was staying there, but I ran into I think one of the most racist people I've ever run into. Of course, it's not just a white person; it's an Indian woman, and she was
Asians are notorious for being the most racist.
Yeah,
I will say the most.
If you follow the world of news or social media, you would think the only people that are racist on earth, obviously every white person is racist to their core. Me, racist, sexist, all those things we are apparently. Yeah. But when you have me looking sideways, because not much, I know who I am. I know how I feel about other people, and I know what the actual definition of racism is. So I'm very comfortable knowing that I am not one of those, no matter what anyone says. Yeah. So, but when you see it in person, and I made this claim a couple weeks ago, and I stand by it, that the people that I find that are by far the most like outward say shit where you go, what is the fucking the hardest core left people, the ones that pretend to be self-righteous and virtuous and want to shame everybody. Those are the ones that time and time again say stuff. And I think part of it is they tend to lump everybody together. Like all white people are racist or all Trump fans are X. They do that a lot.
Even when they're doing it for like pro stuff, like they keep trying to lump the black community and the gay community together, which historically do not get along. It's like you're being very racist by trying to not be racist.
Exactly. And I gave you the example, and it's small because when COVID was going on and there was some outdoor like art fair farmers market thing here, and the warden bought some jar of garbage, whatever, pickles or eggs or some shit from an Asian woman, and then turns to me, I'm like, oh, you a big pickled egg fan or whatever? She's like, not really, but you know,
I want to support the minority.
I want to support the Asians because of all the Asian hate. I'm like, okay.
So you went out of your way to target them because they were Asian.
Because they looked different than you. And it's stuff like that you get caught up in the virtual signal world. Mm-hmm. But you see it time and time again where it's like, all of these people are X or all of those people are Y. And it's just like, that's not a world I'm super comfortable in. Like, I don't think all black people are fucking virtuous and great. There's some real big assholes. I don't believe all women is smart because there's some crazy bitches out there. I don't think all gay people are automatically good and right. You know, like some of you are really, some of you are really shitty human beings, just like the rest of us. Yep. And I don't think all white men who support Trump are evil racists who hate women and like, get the fuck out of here. It's just silly.
Yeah.
So
all Kamala supporters, for the record, are retarded. Just a lot of them.
Yeah. It's getting harder and harder to make that statement.
It's like,
and believe
I feel like a lot of them is just, okay, I get it. You got the TDS. You're not a dumb person. You just got a lot of TDS we got to get out of there.
Yeah. The TDS, we've got some of that on display. We'll get to in a minute too, because some of it is just hilarious. It's getting to the point of comical. but going back to the racist Indian and dot not feather. Okay. So this would be,
headset, not headdress.
Exactly.
Cool.
And so I'm in the elevator and there's a black dude in the elevator with me. And he's got a pair of pretty dope Jordans on. They're North Carolina blue. And I'm wearing a pair of Jordans. They're different Jordans, but we're both waiting for the elevator, which took really way longer than it should. I don't know. I don't remember this because I stayed at this hotel last time. I don't remember this elevator taking fucking 10 minutes to go from floor 1 to 3 as you're waiting, but it did. So if you got caught there waiting with someone, you ended up making small talk with him. So there's this black dude wearing these Jordans. I'm like, dude, those are sweet Jordans. He's like, oh, thanks, man. My girl got these for me. And I'm like, North Carolina blue. He's like, hell yeah. And he's got the accent and everything. I don't know where he's from, Houston or something. And so anyways, he's like, damn, this elevator taking forever. I'm like, yeah, man, this is crazy. And so we're just shooting the shit. Yeah. And we get down we finally get down to the ground floor, and racist Indian woman is at the front desk. And black guy walks up. And so the two of us are basically walking together because I'm going out the front door and we're both going by the front desk. And he's like, hey, do you got any water? And she's like, yeah, over there. And she just points, and they've got like a kitchen set up. You can buy little stacks and all kinds of shit. You've all been to a hotel. And he goes over there and he starts thumbing through the waters. And she looks at me and she just fucking rolls her eyes. And I'm like, he literally asked, hey man, you got any cold water? And she's like, yeah, over there. And then she rolls her eyes. Now, at this point, she doesn't know. Like, she watched me walk up with him.
Yeah.
And it dawns on her. These two might be together. And I just fucking went, giant eye roll at this fucking, she wanted to call him an N-word. Let's be honest. She was like, one of these.
You just gave her
people.
Confirmation. It's okay to be racist here.
Yeah.
I get it.
And he's over in the corner. He's like, how much is this bottle? He's pulling out different bottles and he's asking her the price. She's like, $4. And she looks at me and she goes, are you with him? And I go, no. She goes, oh God, these people. And I was like, yeah. I didn't even know I applauded her outward racism in front of strangers and customers. Like, that's a balls move. Really, it is. To be that outwardly like she was clear in her disdain for this gentleman who, as far as she knows, walked by her and asked, like, do you have cold water? And this was an issue for her. But it's like, yeah.
I get it, though. I work for a guy who's the king of just overt racism.
Yeah. Is he doing it on purpose, though, Garrett? Or is he...
So here's a great little example. We had a customer in here who was from somewhere in West Africa. He had a very thick accent, things like that. And my boss happened to walk by and hear him, the owner of the company. He openly just throws his phone out and he goes, I'm the king of Africa. Starts pulling up all these photos. Apparently, he does know an actual king in Africa that he's friends with, and he's been down there for the coronation and stuff.
Okay.
But he's like showing all the photos. But like over this, like he starts by saying, like, I know all the people down there. I'm cool with the black, like, but he's saying it in a way where he's like, I'm cool with all the N-words and the black people. I'm cool with you, and you and me are buddies.
But see, that doesn't seem like hatred. That seems more like shit talk. Or
the things he says are just like, dude, if anyone else said this and didn't have the amount of money you had, they'd be going to jail right now. Like the way he brought it up.
Well, but he didn't think he doesn't think he's better than someone because of their skin, or maybe he does. I don't know this individual. Maybe. It was clear the Indian woman definitely was like, oh, these fucking people. And she couldn't even hold it in. It took me by such surprise, and nothing surprises me when it comes to words. I don't give a shit, do you? But to do that in front of a customer who you weren't even sure, that might have been my buddy that I was with. Yeah. I mean, we did just bond over Jordans, so we had that together. And I kind of felt bad for him because, he's going through life, has no idea. He's just asking about a bottle of water. Someone's like, these fucking people. Yeah. Jesus Christ. And I don't think she meant the water bottle buyers. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was pretty confident what she meant. I had another guy that I worked with years ago when I worked at Nippon Express down in Romulus Taylor area down by the airport. And he didn't give a fuck. And the warehouse guys were all black. He was a sales dude or sales is probably not right, but he was someone that wore a shirt and tie to work. And then the warehouse crew that we had to deal with all the time for importing and exporting stuff. And there was one black guy who's like, Dennis, let me ask you a question. And, he would say shit like that. And Dennis would just be like, did you say you're going to ask me? Why would you ask me?
He's just calling his own kind.
Oh, yeah. He didn't give a fuck, man. He was funny as shit. Super smart guy, funny as shit. I don't know if that's racist. Like, you could do that in the 90s. I don't know.
No, you can still kind of do it if you have enough charisma in how you do it. Because I've made a couple risky jokes in front of my black coworkers, but I kind of got them in there in just a way where it was self-deprecating enough. They didn't have anything bad to say because it was a little bit of a give and take on that joke.
I feel like you got the gay card in your pocket, though. That helps.
But that's not a black card.
It's not a black card. I didn't say you get free passes of the N-word. And I'm not going that far.
I made a couple racial jokes in front of my black coworkers. Like, I can probably slide this one. It might be safe. And you let it go. And if you just full send it, full confidence, they usually end up laughing harder than anyone else in the room.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's dangerous. It's risky. Yeah. I think there's a big difference in doing it on stage versus doing it, in the group. It depends how people are. And I don't think anyone is truly offended by shit. We see the outrage, like some level of devastation at hearing some idiot say the N-word. It's bullshit. And I think black dudes in particular are laughing their asses off behind the scenes.
I work with these guys enough to kind of gauge out what you can and can't get away with.
Well, I think they're laughing behind the scenes anyways. I think they're got another one of these motherfuckers. They're just laughing. You're not really offending them by a word. I mean, it's just stupid on its face. But seeing real racism in person is kind of fun. Now it was in the heart of Texas. So it's kind of cool, man. Walking around there, whether through the airport or through, I went to a couple restaurants and stuff. The amount of motherfuckers in like American flag, don't tread on me, like guns, you see the meme, but you also see it on shirts there. I like my gun. I like my presidents like my guns, 40 and 45. And it's George Bush and Trump. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. Like they are a patriotic bunch there. Like, don't fuck around. This is my America too.
I know Joe Rogan brought a lot of the California in there, but also if you follow any kind of like gun culture, a lot of those guys at the same time as Rogan was moving down, they were moving different factories of gun culture down to Texas because they had the loosest laws for what they could make. So it's a weird mishmash down. Like for in terms of like what you need stamps and licensing to make.
Yeah.
It's cheaper to do it in Texas.
Well, I know they don't get a real hard on if people are smoking. There were plenty of people smoking outside of, like right outside the front door of the airport. Like it seemed like anywhere else you went, it's like, oh, don't smoke within 1,000 yards of here. Like they get all hard on you about that.
Yeah.
And I know some people find it gross. Some people, whatever. I get it. But in Dallas, they do kind of let you do your thing. Don't try and have an abortion in Dallas. That's kind of fucked up. I know that's illegal. I believe that's illegal. Technically there. But, or something like that, or it's really fast how soon you have to have an abortion or something like that. I know that's one of the states that chicks throw up all the time is like, oh my God, turn into Texas. Something along those lines. Anyway, we'll get to TDS in a moment here. Some James Carville videos while I was out of town. I couldn't wait to talk about these. They're fucking hilarious. The Raging Cajun, he's a trip, man. But shit, what was I about to say? I was about to say something else. Oh, the debate tonight. There's a debate tonight. And it's the vice president debate. And the word on the street is that Waltz of the Harry Balls campaign is really nervous about this debate. And I think rightly so.
Yeah.
He's going up against someone who's no bullshit. Like, this is the danger in putting these candidates in a situation where you get complete media cover. It's why people were like, "Oh my God, Biden's not good at the debate." It was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, no shit, no shit," and they don't self-reflect at all and go, "Oh my God, I feel like I've been lied to for 4 years." No, they didn't take stock like that. They just went, "Oh God, overnight he turned into not good
He's
and
just suddenly
old, and
old.
all of a sudden he has dementia in the last 24 hours. We need to get rid of him." Like, people were genuinely shocked because
The
they
shit
weren't.
people were screaming before he was even elected.
Right. Some of us were talking about that years ago. So to us, it was no big deal when we saw his performance at the debate. They realized they weren't able to hide it from stupid people anymore, or less informed people, I should say.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. Like, oh, Biden, can you believe how much he collapsed at that debate? Yes, I absolutely can.
Yep.
It's way more telling that it surprised you. That you should take offense at, the fact that you weren't aware of that your president was in that condition, because he's been in that condition for years now.
Yeah.
4 years ago it was bad. 2 years ago it was indefensible, and every day since it's been equally indefensible.
Yeah.
So this idea that JD Vance is some fucking dipshit, or he's weird. He's just weird.
Weird. He's couch fucker.
Yeah, couch fucker, weird. All this shit is going to be really hard to, there's a lot of people that just believe that. And if those people watch the debate tonight, they're going to find someone that went into the Marines right out of high school, didn't have to bullshit about his service, went to Yale Law School, is a very well-spoken individual, knows what he's talking about. Waltz, maybe he'll do just fine. I have no idea. I don't think these matter in the least, to be honest with you. I'm not taking sides here. But I don't think these matter. I think all these things is we all watch, looking to pick up one or two things that we can run with tomorrow and be like, "Oh my God, do you hear that dipshit?
We're all waiting for he's eating the cats, he's eating the dogs.
Right.
They're eating the cats. Yeah.
Which you're not going to get with a JD Vance. JD Vance is way more eloquent than Trump. Tim Walz is fucking weird. He is weird. And so trying to paint him as all-American man, football coach, teacher, working on his truck guy, like, no, that's going to be hard to fake. And what Tim Walz knows, and the reason he's so nervous, by all accounts, for this debate is there's no hiding the fact that you're going up against a fucking Yale Law School grad in a debate. Like, now, all I can hope for, I believe this is a Fox debate. I'm sure all the networks will carry it, so where you watch it is where you watch it. But I think it's a Fox debate, and all I can hope is that, unlike what they've done on ABC and CNN, where they didn't follow up with anything or ask anything important, really, they did, and Kamala was able to dance, and then they'd ask real questions to Trump, but he's used to getting real questions. Nobody gives him a free pass ever. So he's used to answering really tough questions with an accusatory tone and all that. So that's nothing new to him. This team does not get that. And so that's why I was like, all for, let each of them pick who's going to debate the other. That would be fair. And Trump's already has a extremely hostile media to him, whether you want to acknowledge that or not. He does. So in this case, though, I hope these people will ask these people real questions that matter, and try to get
Fox.
Huh?
It's not a Fox debate. It's CBS.
It is CBS. Okay. Fuck.
Yeah.
Damn it. That means you're probably, you're not going to get, never mind. There was hope if you had Martha McCallum and Brett Baer doing it, that while they're Fox hosts, they're very moderate daytime Fox hosts. They're not the talking heads of later. They would do a good job. And you could at least, fingers crossed, that, to me, it's very scary. I would love to ask, okay, start with JD Vance. There's a lot of concern that if a Trump administration comes in, they want to hurt women. They want to make abortion illegal. I think you pin them down on something like that. Let someone take 2 minutes and explain what their thoughts are, make a promise to America, because I know that's a storyline. I know they're running with that. I'd like some further clarification. Fine. Give someone the platform to explain Project 2025. Now, Trump fails at that. He doesn't do a very good job of going, I have nothing to do with it. I haven't even read it. That's true. And if you know anything, you know the Heritage Foundation puts this thing out every 2 years. They've done it since 1981. It literally means nothing, but it should tell you something when January 6th, Project 2025, and abortion are the things like, look what these people are going to do to you. Oh my God, we got to protect from that. They can't brag about all their accomplishments. And so that's the angle. Project 2020, this weird boogeyman. So hopefully he can have a good response on Project 2025 and put something like that to bed. Not that anyone cares or wants to hear it anyways, probably. And then when it comes to Tim Walz, I would love to hear him go, like, he's made comments about the First Amendment. To me, this is not up for debate. John Kerry made comments 2 days ago about the First Amendment, disinformation. They don't say the First Amendment. They say disinformation, misinformation.
Yeah.
Barack Obama has recently said stuff about doing something about the disinformation, misinformation. Hillary Clinton has. John Kerry did 2 days ago at the World Economic Forum. Tim Walz has. And they end it there. They don't go any further. I'd love for them to be pressed on what exactly that means, because the problem is, even with good intentions, stuff like COVID happened, right?
Yeah.
COVID, there was a lot of misinformation about COVID that came out. It's still up now. That you get the vaccine, it stops with you. You can't transmit it. It eliminates you getting sick, and you can't pass it to loved ones and neighbors. That is false. That's not true. No one's calling that disinformation. And again, Mr. Walz, with all due respect, since you have a real problem with disinformation, misinformation, and you somehow want to have some boundaries on that, who's making the call? I know the Biden administration wanted to have a czar to do that, and we watched that clown cunt sing her little Disney jingle or whatever before she was blown out.
Bullshit.
Yeah. She was going to tell the world what was true and what wasn't, even though half the shit she was saying was bullshit. Provable bullshit. Provable. And if people further understand, like John Kerry's comments, do you have John Kerry's comments there?
I can find them real quick.
I emailed them to you yesterday, Garrett. If you can find them, maybe I'll just let him play them in his own words. And yes, this puts up roadblocks for these guys to be. They're in this weird world where they're used to being able to control the message, control the narrative. As long as media, for the most part, runs cover for them, they're able to say what they want. They're in this new world now with independent journalists, independent media, and social media, where they're fact-checked in real time by a lot of people. And all of a sudden, them just saying whatever they want, whatever fits their global fucking narrative, is being challenged. And it's a problem for someone like John Kerry. It's a problem when you want to be the climate czar of the fucking world, yet you're flying around on a private jet everywhere you go.
Yep.
Like, rules for thee, but not for me, that whole thing. So here's John Kerry saying it out loud, and no one seems to have a problem with this.
And I think the dislike of and anguish over social media is just growing and growing and growing. And it's part of our problem, particularly in democracies, in terms of building consensus around any issue. It's really hard to govern today.
Yeah.
You can't, there's the referees we used to have to determine what's a fact and what isn't a fact, are kind of, been eviscerated to a certain degree.
People talk.
Yeah.
And people go, and that people self-select. where they go for their news or for their information. And then you just get into a vicious cycle. So it's really, really hard, much harder to build consensus today than at any time in the
because we know your bullshit
50 years I've been involved in this.
Go ahead, you can kill it. It's the point is it's really hard to just be full of shit on our face and get away with it, is what he's saying there. It's the same thing Tim Walz is saying. When, it's very inconvenient for these people to have their past statements on the record. Kamala Harris doesn't want that out there, that she supports surgeries for illegal trans prison inmates. That is an inconvenient reality. She said it more than one time.
Yeah.
She has. And so that being played everywhere is a problem for her. She would rather that's not out there. And so the danger is, if it's just shit we don't like, or we can twist to sound like disinformation, or that's not, even worse, malinformation, which is true, but lacks context, like fuck off. You don't get to be the arbiter of truth. You don't get to decide. And the fact is, you people are full of shit all the time. So in this debate, I would love to pin Tim Walz down on this and say, what makes you think, because of a voted position, that you get to decide what Garrett can say? That's not how this works, motherfucker. No, it's not up for debate, John Kerry. I know you want to go back to the way it was, where no matter what bullshit you threw out there, nobody's supposed to do their own research. No one's supposed to question anything. And God forbid someone criticize you. They've had cover again from a landscape media for decades. We didn't even know how corrupt it was. We didn't know what we didn't know. And now when you see it fall apart on its face, these people are scrambling. They're scrambling. I'd love to pin someone like Tim Walz down on that. It's too bad. I watched SNL I didn't watch SNL. I take that back. I watched the cold open. They apparently, Trump's team was all pissed off because they made some reference to Trump being assassinated. I didn't think it was that big a deal. I thought that was fair game. They did you see it, Garrett?
No, I didn't see it, but I feel like comedy is comedy. If it's not like, it's not quite what's her face? The crazy redhead bitch who held up the Trump head. It's like that's a little like gruesome too far stuff. But if you're just making a little joke, Griffin. Kathy Griffin. It's one of those things.
The joke, I'd play it for you, but we'll get yanked immediately if we play something from NBC, which is another archaic thing. NBC should want us all talking about it. We exist in the media platform too. Yeah. So they should want us talking about it and playing it, but whatever. They had a glass or clear plexiglass sheet up in front of Trump while he was speaking. And then when it was time for the JD Vance character to come up, they wheeled that off stage.
Yeah. Okay. That's not that crazy. That's kind of like, okay, I get it.
Yeah. To me, it wasn't that big a deal. It happened. And it's
not even, sorry, I was going to say, it's not even making fun of the assassination attempts. It's just like, this guy is a very volatile figure who's getting shot at a lot. So that's the joke.
Right. And I don't have a problem with that.
But yeah.
I didn't have a problem with that at all. No. Trump's campaign came out and said, we love my, let's see, the Trump War Room posted a clip of the scene from SNL. There were 2 assassination attempts against Trump within the span of 7 weeks. Saturday Night Live apparently finds that funny. Disgusting. One of his attorneys and advisors, Alina Habba, I don't know who that is, but I guarantee she's fucking hot as shit. It's remarkable how every woman in his orbit is smoking hot. I don't know who that is. Alina, Alina, Habba, Habba. I guarantee she's hot. I guarantee it.
So I got Alina Habba, and the first suggestion was Alina Habba body.
Yeah.
Because
people, is she? Yeah, pull her up. Let me see. I got to see her now.
On. I'm getting there. I'll just open up the Google page. Pick a favorite.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's remarkable. And they yeah. Oh,
a little bit in the mouth, a little bit, but not too bad.
Little gummy you worried about?
Yeah, a little gummy.
She's gorgeous.
Look at that.
He loves. There's something about hot women. Trump just doesn't give a shit. He's like, yeah, she's smoking hot and she's smart. I'll take her.
Yep.
Put her on the team, and they all love working for him. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
No.
Maybe he's grabbing them all by the pussy every day. I don't
Hey,
know.
if he's paying them off, that's just a gig at that point.
Right. So Alina Habba there said, we have lost all boundaries of decency in the media. Shame on NBC. I didn't have a problem with that. Honestly, I had a problem with a lot of the sketch. They bring back old cast members. Now, they do this for the Christmas episode when they know most people are watching, and they do it for a new season launch. That's not new. But they did what you'd expect. They shit on Trump. They pretend that Kamala Harris is super popular and cool.
Yeah.
That's where I think they fail. Like, I don't have a problem with the shitting on Trump part. It's that you should be, there's so much to shit on about Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, just like there's a lot to shit on with Trump. It would be cool and less divisive if you equally shit on both. I'll tell you what I mean in a second. Jim Gaffigan plays Tim Walz. Hilarious. He comes out with the jazz hands, freaky kind of thing.
I see that.
But he's like, we have a saying in Minnesota, leave us the hell alone. And then it's like, okay, what's his next big line? Also, my balls froze to the park bench. Okay, Minnesota's cold.
Cool.
So you can see that's the only thing you can go after Tim Walz. Like, if this was true to SNL, like when Clinton was in office, do you think there wasn't a Monica Lewinsky or a cigar or a fucking cum-stained dress reference every time they had him on? Of course there was. So the Tampon Tim thing is something that is fair games for them.
Yeah.
You know, scene opens up in a high school where the teacher he follows a kid into the boys' bathroom and there's a tampon machine, right? Like that's the sort of thing that would be historic. But no, we're gonna act like Tim Walz is the only wacky thing anybody could ever say about Tim Walz is, guys from Minnesota, we got a saying in Minnesota, my balls froze to the park bench.
I got a wacky thing about Tim Walz that's kind of fun. Honestly, it's the first time I felt like he's kind of human. But he was picked up in '95 for a DUI.
There you go.
Yeah, it's like that's the first time I was like, oh, look, a human.
No, he tried to steal some valor there too, I think.
Really?
I think his excuse was that he was in the military and lost his hearing or something and couldn't hear him, or he made some horrible bullshit excuse as to why he was hammered driving a car. Yeah, if you just came out and went, yeah, we weren't all
90
fucking
and a 65 they caught him.
What was that? I don't know.
It was 90 and a 65. That's how they caught him.
Yeah, which I've done plenty of times, 90 and a 65. Not highly recommended when you're shit-faced.
Yeah.
I think the American public could handle it. I think it would be no big deal if you went out and went, dude, I'm not going to pretend we all had our fucking shit together in the 90s.
I saw that.
I got a DUI. I'm human. It happens. I'm not proud of it. I did my time. I spent the night in jail. I learned a valuable lesson. Thank God no one was hurt that night. And I hope young people learn from my lesson. Move on.
I saw somebody attacking him with it.
Gunfired. What's that?
I saw somebody attacking Tim Walz for the DUI. I was like, hold on. This is like the first time I was like, you know what? He drank and drove once, got caught, didn't kill anybody, nobody got hurt, and he never did it again. I respect that a little bit. That's a little bit of it's a human move. It's fucked up.
Look for real things to point out to these people. Like, yes, and to act like the world was the same in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. No, it wasn't. We're in a world right now where every chick on TV has to be of color of some sort and a fat ass.
Yep.
That's the world we're in. I started watching Prison Break. What was that, 2012 show? I heard the first season was really good. I started watching it. It's so refreshing. Every chick in there is a fucking smokes. There are 10. Every chick in there is hot as shit. And it's just like, yeah, that's just the way the world was. Okay.
It's visually appealing. I want to look at them.
Yeah, you do. You go, oh my God, this chick's in this scene again. Wow, she's fucking gorgeous, man. Look at her. And the guys were all basically hot too, for the most part. The guys are all, it's like, yeah, it's a fantasy world. And we all got to look at the beautiful people. It's the way it was. I don't want to no, I don't want to see some sloppy fucking twat that I see every time I walk into Walmart.
Yeah.
No, that's like great.
Trust me, I'm
But
as mad as straight guys for the same reason. They took the hot guys out of movies too.
yeah, it's weird, but to act like that's not the world that it was in 2012. Yes, in 2012, beautiful people were on TV. Sorry, they weren't all the commercials. They made going to the beach look cool. They made going to the fucking party store look cool. It's just the way it was. And your TV sitcom lineup was loaded with hot people. It was awesome, and we all loved watching it. And like, so don't act like the world was the same in 2010. No, it's just recently that big fat slobs are all over our TV. That was not normal. What was normal was to have the one Chris Farley. It was like, hey, the fat comic relief is here. Hey, the one fat chick is here in this scene. Crazy. She stole the scene as the fat comic relief.
I was just going to say, like, you just met Roseanne, though. Wasn't she big on TV?
Yes. And that was part of the appeal of her, was that it was so against the grain. It was so not normal. It was so, what that show was this super suburban Chicago. I believe they were in Illinois. Family of, like poor white people in lower middle class America. And that stuff didn't typically break through. It's like the Cosby Show did the same kind of thing. Like, you didn't have Black professionals in lead character roles in the big lineup. Like, that wasn't the way it was done. And so those broke molds, they broke stereotypes, they kind of broke through. And the key is, though, they were really well written and they didn't play into those stereotypes. That wasn't the point, was to like shove it in your face of, look at what these are. Yes. That wasn't the point. The point was just really fucking good writing, really good comedy timing. You can't take away from John Goodman and Roseanne Barr. Roseanne Barr's a fucking legend, dude. Legend. Oh, yeah. That bitch, as a fat chick, went on TV and had the #1 show on planet Earth for a decade.
Yep.
And it like that it's unheard of what Roseanne has done in the world of sitcom television. Unheard of. Incredible. So I don't know how that tied into SNL, but so Kamala Harris, what was that?
Oh, just replacing all the hot people on TV with the ugly people.
Yeah. I can't remember. Anyways, it doesn't matter. We've made our point. Jim Gaffigan plays Tim Walz, and my balls froze to the. Okay, that's all you got for Tim Walz. Really, that's it. That's what you've got for Tim Walz. Really, this goofy fucking weirdo character waving his arms everywhere, acting like he's Mr. Middle America. I'm just white guys for Harris. Like, really, nothing you can tag him for. No. Kamala's played by the fabulous Maya Rudolph. Everything Maya Rudolph does is fucking great. It's great. And it just shows you how good these original or older cast members were before they went all woke. Yeah. So we have a saying in our house. No, that's not a Kamala. Let's see, Kamala. We have a saying in our house, like when Doug leaves his phone at Chili's, we are not going back. Really? So you're going to bring Doug Jackoff, beat off the first gentle lady. I always fuck up his name. You're going to bring up the first gentle lady, and what you go to is, like when Doug leaves his phone at Chili's, we are not going back. That's the tag. That's the fucking punch for Kamala Harris and Doug Beatoff.
I just thought of, like, right here, sitting here, and I'm not a comedy writer or anything, have no history in this, but wouldn't it have been fucking hysterical if, like, at the end of, like, a Tim Walz bit, somebody came up and asked him a question, he just, like, kind of heard them and went, anyways, good night, everybody, and left the stage.
Yeah, yes.
That would have been fucking hysterical.
Yes,
it's kind of the same vein of the Trump glass,
It would be in the weeds a little bit. It might even require some follow-up stories the next day of people explaining the joke to people. You would get coverage in Variety magazine or the New York papers or something explaining the joke. Like, this happened a couple times where asked a tough question and he about faced and went, I gotta go. Yep. Fuck off. Like, that was funny. That reference. You get Andy Samberg You drag Andy Samberg
No,
in to
I love
play.
Andy Samberg.
He's great. He's great
He's
in
one
a
of my
lot of
favorites.
things.
Yeah.
They get him to play Doug Jackoff, Beatoff, Emhoff, the first gentle lady. And it takes 0 shots at Doug, nothing. Like, here's a guy, factually, that fucked his babysitter, knocked her up while he was married, and then nobody's asked a single question what happened to that baby, which means we all know what happened to that baby. That baby was vacuumed the fuck out, period. That baby is not growing up in a loving home somewhere else, because that would be a feel-good story, relatable to a lot of American families that have gone through adoption and whatnot. If you could tell that story, that would be worth it. That would be a good story, something great and beautiful that came out of, this sad situation. But no, you talk about, like, when Doug leaves his phone at Chili's, we're not going back. Really? That's the shot SNL took at Doug?
Yeah.
The guy that fucked the babysitter, busted a nut in her, knocked her up, probably aborted that kid. Nothing. You're not even going to go there.
Yeah.
Okay. I see what you did.
I can restructure the joke real quick. Again, I'm not a comedy writer. You ready?
Yeah.
When Doug left his phone on the counter, those texts weren't from me.
Yeah, it's a terrible joke, but
it's terrible, but it's better than what they had.
It's an attempt.
It's just like they could play into this. They could find something around that.
So Dana Carvey comes out, plays Joe Biden, plays it great.
Yeah.
Dana Carvey is very good at, he's the reason people, wouldn't be prudent. Like, Bush never said that. Yeah. Never. But he was so good at creating a character that everybody just imitated Dana Carvey's imitation of George H.W. Bush.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be prudent, that kind of thing.
Sarah Palin.
What's that about Sarah?
It's like Tina Fey and Sarah Palin.
Fey.
Like,
yeah.
It was such a
great
Sarah
one too.
Palin, that the things she said, like, I can see Russia from my backyard.
Yeah.
Like, that's nothing.
By the
Sarah
way,
Palin never said that.
No. And I've looked at that on a map. You probably could on a clear day. Like, it's crazy how close that really is.
Yeah.
So Dana Carvey plays Joe Biden, and it's interesting. All of a sudden, they can act like they're doing the bit of the Joe Biden we were telling them about 4 years ago. It's crazy. Now he stumbles around aimlessly, doesn't know where he is, doesn't make much sense, sniffs women's hair.
Yeah.
Like, all those things that you ran cover for SNL for the last 4 years. Now that he's gone, do you see the problem with that? So the Trump impression, pretty good, not bad. And of course, they went with the made-up story that Kamala Harris spit out, trying to get Trump's goat. His crowds are small and bored and leaving early. That doesn't even make sense.
No.
There are credible stories in reality of people bussing people in and offering free dinners and lunches to go to Kamala's rallies, or putting on a concert and having her there and acting like that's a Kamala rally.
They had the abortion bus at the Kamala rallies.
Yeah, they had free vasectomies and abortions.
Yep.
I don't know if anyone got one, but they had them.
Yeah, new to yourself for the DNC.
So
just
Trump,
what they want.
So for the Trump part of the sketch, so they don't beat up Kamala, they don't beat up Walz at all. They don't beat up Doug, Jackoff, Emhoff at all. And then they go to Trump, and the crowd sitting behind him, just bored. And then he says something, and one of them just gets up and walks out. Like, this is just the normal at a Trump rally. Everyone's bored. Because that's not what I've seen when I see those rallies. Of what I saw was over the weekend, he showed up at the Alabama game, which is cool because Tim Walz showed up at the Michigan-Minnesota game. Mm-hmm. And I saw all the videos online of people telling him to fuck off and get out of here to Tim Walz, leaving the Michigan game. Fuck off. Now, in fairness, he's a Minnesota guy at a Michigan game. So it's fair that there would be some people in Ann Arbor that might be like, fuck out of here, Minnesota dork. Yeah. But, and it's the VP nomination. So Trump had 100,000 people in the stadium, all going bonkers, batshit crazy, broke into USA chants, undeniable.
Yeah.
That happened too. So to pretend like, and so this is what SNL picks up on, that everybody at Trump's rallies are bored and walking out. Really?
You know, the last news story about a Trump rally I heard was a woman flashed her tits. Like, that was a huge news story, like, at Trump.
Oh, some chick did?
Yeah.
Dude, you should have seen the Alabama chicks. Smoke shows going crazy for him.
Exactly.
One pictures wanted to just touch him. It was almost like he'd let him grab him by the pussy.
Almost.
Yeah, it was. And then they bring out, and I'm sure my comic buddies would tell me this guy is great, the Asian dude that I guess he replaced Shane Gillis because Shane was so racist, and his Asian joke was too much for them. So they brought the Asian guy. His name escapes me right now. He's fucking terrible. But here's the thing about the Asian guy: he loves cock.
Yeah, he's gay.
So the fact that he loves cock and his eyes look different than yours means that he's hilarious. He's hilarious. So we've got him playing JD Vance. So there's basically no impression of JD Vance. We'll just put a fake beard on him, mention Project 2025, and then end the sketch. I'm sorry, SNL. Your job is to laugh at these people.
Yeah, like if
not push a narrative. Like that's not your job.
Yeah.
What?
I thought it would have been funny if they had him come out with eyeliner on.
Yes.
That's something that there you go. You could have done so many things.
You could. I wouldn't even have a problem if you did the couch gag. If you had the balls to do a big Mike sketch and have Michelle Obama come out with what looks like a huge fucking cock bulge.
That'd be funny.
Like it'd be funny. It'd be daring. It'd be it would be something. But you're taking all of the things that either side is saying about the other that are funny, like and not using them. I don't understand. So what you've done is pushed a narrative that all you did was push a narrative that, yes, we all agree now Joe Biden is old and senile. Okay, thanks. Really helpful when we needed you to push that narrative, SNL. Yeah. And it's not even a narrative. It's just a fucking truth. Exactly. And then, the only takeaway from this is that Trump's rallies are small and people are bored. Really? So you're letting Kamala Harris's team write your fucking satire bits for you?
Well, they can't attack any of Trump's. They can't attack any of Trump's policies because Kamala's probably going to steal them in a week or two.
Right. It's just sad to me. This has been a historically bad presidency that we're wrapping up right now. Where this goes, I don't know. I've made my opinion very clear that by any means necessary means something, and I don't think that too big to rig is a real thing. I think you should go vote. I think you should make your voice heard. I really do. But I don't think there's a way that dude climbs back into the White House. I will say, holy shit, I was wrong. I'm not afraid to be wrong. I'm waiting for just one of my strict COVID policy asshole fucking people that I know that wouldn't shut up about it to apologize and go, dude, once again, man, I should have listened to you. You were right about a lot of that. It's never going to happen. But if Trump gets back in that White House, I will apologize. Yeah. If there's not another assassination attempt on his life, I'll apologize.
Well, I know today.
And I'm just fine. Let me even go this far. If you want to go on that SNL stage as a performer and crush Trump for they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, fine. He said that. He said that. That's fair game. Doug Emhoff fucked his babysitter while he was married. Fair game. If this was a classic SNL lineup, they would have Doug Emhoff. They wouldn't show him penetrating the babysitter, but they would make reference. The babysitter would knock at the door and Doug would give her a wink. They would do something like that. Or they would have him show up shit-faced somewhere all tipsy and throw his car keys down on the table like he just drove home. They would make reference like, you didn't slide that past us.
Yeah.
Just like they would fair game. They would go, they would make Trump out like they're eating the cats and dogs. Fine. That's
Fair
all
game.
fair.
If we're going fair game, I feel like it'd be great to have the Emhoff character show, like, hey, this is my girl, and it's, a babysitter, someone who's clearly not Kamala. And then they had JD Vance go, and here's mine, and it's a picture of a couch.
Yeah. Okay. You're not going to be a comedy writer anytime soon,
no,
but I see where you're going.
Both sides get hit right there. It's an easy joke.
Imagine if Tim Walz, they go via live shot to his house in Minnesota, and behind him is just a burning city.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's proud. He's very proud of the way he handled the BLM riots in his city. They want to distance themselves from that narrative now, but that happened. Peaceful and fiery but peaceful protests in Minnesota. That guy, you're not going to bring up any of that stuff. And the worst part is it's these people's job to amplify and the parody levels. That's where the comedy is. You amplify, you take something that's small and you amplify it. It's the caricature nature of it that makes it so funny. That we all sort of know the story, and then that's what makes it really funny. And instead, you're pushing narratives and policies. I don't get it. It's a sad time. Comedy is coming through this. There are some brave comics out there that don't give a fuck and are saying what needs to be said. They're this generation's Lenny Bruce and George Carlin. It is in no way anyone on these writing and casting groups of something like SNL. It's sad. It's too bad. They should be fucking hitting home run after home run after home run right now during an election season.
Unfortunately, it's the guys who are banned from SNL who are making the most waves, like Dave Chappelle and Shane Gillis.
Right.
But not
they're
banned,
the ones
not allowed on.
They're the ones that people will remember.
Yeah.
They are. The people historically that they'll remember are the ones that broke the mold. They are the Hall of Famers don't get there by playing nice with one side or another. They get there by kicking the fucking door in is what they do. It's why Roseanne is a Hall of Famer. It's why Dave Chappelle is a Hall of Famer. I don't agree with Dave Chappelle a lot of the time.
Yeah.
He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's a Mount Rushmore guy. Shane Gillis is on a trajectory to fucking kick that door down. He is.
No, honestly, my top three right now, just active comics, are Shane Gillis, Theo Von, and Dave Landau.
Yeah, I think Landau is one of those two.
I think he's one of those guys who should be up there with them. If
done right for Dave, he has the ability to do something really special. No doubt about it. No doubt. Shane Gillis is even on a faster track.
Oh, yeah.
Theo Von, I disagree with, but that's preferences.
That's fine.
That's just preferences. Theo. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I get shit from people because I didn't find what's his name funny.
You know what it is? I like Theo Von because I work in a blue collar environment. He just has that aura of everybody I work with. It's like that's what it's like.
It's almost like he's playing a character, though.
Yeah. No, right? I get it, but his character is something I understand and I kind of respect. Like I get the jokes about because it's me.
Dude, it's not lost on me that he's a comics comic.
Yes.
Like and that means something to me when all comics agree like this guy's the shit, like they did with who's the one guy that I always talk about. It was not my thing, just wasn't. The guy that OD'd on heroin overdose.
Oh man,
I know people are yelling at their screen right now. He was the quick one-liner hit, kind of like
Mitch Hedberg.
Mitch Hedberg, yeah,
Mitch Hedberg.
Mitch Hedberg never did it for me, but it's like music. It's subjective. I was never a fan of U2, never a fan of Nine Inch Nails, never a fan of. There's a bunch of those bands. Never a Bruce Springsteen fan. There's a lot of them that are iconic. Hundreds of millions of fans that not my thing.
I'll make all the fans hate me right now. I think the Beatles are heavily overrated.
I don't. I know why you would say that. I get it. Totally get why you would say that. I disagree.
I think
wholeheartedly. However, I did go through a period when I was younger where I was like, this band might be overrated. The Beatles might be overrated. The more I've listened to them, the more I've read about them, the more I've seen with them, because they're before my time, the more I realize the genius in the Beatles. They were playing at a level that nobody plays it. They just were.
George Harrison was. I think that some of the other guys were lacking a
No,
little
Paul
bit.
McCartney.
Paul McCartney too. Yes, I'd say George Harrison, Paul McCartney
and
were
John
kind of late to that.
and John. But
A little bit.
I have drummers that I know that are really fucking good players, good players that say Ringo's a supremely underrated drummer.
No, I think he's okay, but I just feel like the level of fame the Beatles, the level of power they have in music, where you even invoke the name of the Beatles, like you're about to get everybody on your ass.
There's reasons for it. I know it's like we have a human nature to want to push back against things that are thrown at us and pushed on us. And everybody is born and told the Beatles are the greatest band that have ever lived.
Yeah.
Good luck in life. Like that's just the way it is. So every generation is told their ass is spanked when they come out of the doctor. The Beatles are the greatest thing that's ever lived. Go. And so my natural instinct is to go, fuck the Beatles. But no, they are that fucking special, dude. The shit.
I get it.
And the stuff they were doing on Magical Mystery and the stuff that I mean, look, people that like this show like Drew, and Drew can do this way more justice. But dude, I've read so many books on them in the recording process, in how they were doing things. Their producer is the fifth Beatle, and he is equally.
That's one of my problems I always have with the Beatles.
Yeah, no, their melodies, their hook writing ability, their lyrical ability, it's special. It's just special. James Carville, I mentioned the Raging Cajun. Hilarious. He is just going off. And this is what we see time and time again with Trump derangement syndrome, where I want to say this. I hate saying that TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. Everybody says, oh, they're suffering from TDS. But dude, it's getting harder and harder not to look at stuff just like and just go, yeah, this is someone dealing with like a mental illness. I hope psychiatrists look back at this time, because this time will be over in 4 years. Regardless of what happens, Trump's not running again. So whether he wins this time or doesn't, it will be interesting to see how history records the behaviors of human beings, because, depending on how you look at life, how you walk through this world, I see it a lot on the left. I really do. I don't mean to tag them, but there seems to be a lot of anger and a lot of like, I don't want to have the discussion. You're a racist. And you're like, okay, you hate all women if you have a question about abortion. Like, no, you should be able to have the conversations in civility.
I get called a woman hater because I actually agreed with kicking abortion back to the States, just because I don't like the federal government having power over my body.
No, I don't either. And I
don't feel like women should like that either.
I don't really understand the argument. The reason it gets so much play is because there's not a lot of positive things you can trump up about this current administration. Like, their foreign policy's been garbage. The economy is a absolute fucking dumpster fire. The border is a shit show. Like, that's the reality. And so what do you have? You have some invented boogeyman in Project 2025.
Yeah.
You have another invented thing in abortion being the biggest deal to the country. And the fact is, if you are able to have a civil conversation, you can at least deduce why we got where we got. And if you want to pretend that this has not been something that's been contentious for 52 years, you're nuts. You're nuts. It was bad law 52 years ago, 53 years ago now. It was bound to get here at some point. And, that's just the reality. So abortion is not a constitutional right.
No.
It's just not. And so that's what the Supreme Court rules on is those rights. And so it never fit in there. It was forced in there. Now, the good thing for the abortion group is 70% of the country agrees. And that includes, an almost majority of Republicans, people on the right agree with you that, hey, Leave me out of this. This is between a woman and a doctor. I'm not going to tell her what to do with her body. There's a prop here. I guess I won't be voting in it because I'll vote in Michigan still, but Prop 139, it's a big deal here in Arizona. I think it's Prop 139 about abortion and trying to make it a right through the state. I would vote for it.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to tell women what to do. And if there's a God and this is some big fucking hang up of his, then those people can deal with that.
Exactly. It's
not
not
my
for the God
place.
angle. I'm going at it for the anti-federal angle.
But I at the same time, I don't think it's fair to just go, everybody that doesn't want abortions for everybody is free fucking gift certificates when you're born to get 10 abortions hates women. Like,
yeah.
Well, no, that's not exactly true too.
No, because I also get pissed off because I become anti-abortion when I hear how many people just think of it as like contracept or anti, a way to not get pregnant. Basically, it's just another form of a condom.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think the alt-right, if you will, the hardcore conservative, the religious, like you people show your ass enough that you're morally not superior than fucking anyone. In fact, a lot of those people are worse off in their behavior under the guise of being super religious, Christian, love everybody people, seem to have a lot of opinions about what everybody else does in the name of God. And it's fucking gross too.
I just mean more in the sense of like, even as a guy who's pro-abortion, I look at the abortion bus following the Kamala campaign. I'm kind of like, that's just distasteful. That's just gross.
Yes. I think it was Jimmy Dore who made the point, and he's so right about, what it really is it is a tragedy. It is. And that's why it's like, the dumpster fire abortion shit show. It's meant to be like, this thing's a fucking disaster.
Yeah, I can't take care of a living being. I'm not in a good situation. This isn't supposed to be my kid. There's a lot of really bad situations that should lead to it. Not just, I got hooked up the other night and didn't take a pill.
I hate the hardcore conservative Christian argument of like, there's an easy way around this, and it's called abstinence. It's like, okay, dork, shut up. Most guys are trying to get laid the second they can. And I understand there's some people that hold out and wait for marriage. Like, good for them. I didn't fucking do that. And it could have been any number of 1,000 times that I knocked someone up. It could have been. I tried my best not to, but it could have been what I would have done in that situation. I don't know. You
also kind of took on the risk of, hey, I'm going to fuck this chick. There's a chance that this might happen. So I might grab some jimmies. I might do pull-out game.
Yeah, fuck like that. No.
You find a way to try and mitigate that risk. But if it happens, you got to understand the consequences of that, these people are just like, there's no consequence. I'll just get that shit vacuumed out for the 8th time.
Yeah, I think that's a devastating decision that comes back to haunt a lot of people. There's lots of decisions we make when we're younger that we think are okay. This will be easy to get over. I'm not going to be someone that pretends to know what that feels like, but I got to imagine for a lot of women, and I think the numbers are out there. I haven't done an extensive background on this, but I think it's fair to say that a lot of women remember dates and what would be a third birthday and what would be my life. What would my life be like if this individual had come into it? Like, I think as human beings, as we mature and grow, you think back more and more to those moments in your life that unquestionably changed the direction of people's lives, whether it was for the best or was a horrible mistake that you regret terribly. Like, I'm not here to say, and I'm not here to pass judgment, but that shouldn't be lost on people that, this is not just like, hey, cool, it's a Saturday, let's go get abortions.
Exactly.
Like, no, that's
what it feels like when you got
keep it where it belongs.
The abortion bus. That's what that feels like.
Yeah, it's horribly tragic. It is what it is. All right, let's get to James Carville. We were talking about TDS and stuff like that. I got a couple videos from him. Now, for those that don't know, the Ragin' Cajun, I've always liked him. Always been a fan. He's a hardcore lefty. A lot of people believe he is the reason Bill Clinton won the presidency. You know, he kind of says it like it is. He's an LSU guy, and he talks frank. He doesn't talk. He talks shit. Says what needs to be said. Doesn't care what you think or anybody thinks. These people are crazy. Like, he's just one of those guys. Call him the Raging Cajun. But like, these dudes are going off the fucking deep end when it comes to Trump. And it's like, if you want to walk through the world looking at only possibly seeing the bad in someone, you can do that. I can look at Garrett and nitpick every fucking decision you make and go and look at it from a twisted perspective and think the only reason Garrett's doing that is for wrong and bad reasons. I just got to figure out what those nefarious reasons are. If you choose to go through life like that, you're going to be miserable, but that's what you're going to see from people. And that's the level these people have gotten to with Trump. Like, he goes down to the storm ravaged areas of the country and brings with him gasoline and water and whatever. Now, you can call that a political stunt or whatever, but instead it's like, he's only doing that for himself, and he's only doing that because, and it's just like ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I suppose you could look at it that way, or you can go, you know, we've looked at Lahaina in Hawaii, and you took Joe Biden there kicking and screaming against his will months after the fact. Have they ever been to fucking Palestine, Ohio? Or was it just when Trump went there that they went that day?
Yeah, it was.
How about the border? You were dragged kicking and screaming to the fucking border. Kicking and screaming. And so it's like, what? Are you not going to put boots on the ground? Now, I understand it's disruptive to have a politician in town. Like, those services are needed. I always think it's stupid when these guys fly into a ravaged area to get a photo op. But, you know, it had been a few days. Trump shows up and says, we need help here. They need help here. I'm here to help. And bring something like, okay, is it possible there was some possible good from that? I don't know. Maybe it's just that. It's just nefarious. He's just crazy.
My argument for Mr. Beast, because he makes millions of dollars. People are like, well, he's only doing his charity work to get more money. I'm like, yeah, but he's still doing charity work. Yeah. At the end of the day, if people are genuinely being helped by his actions, I don't really care how much he makes off it. Just as long as he's genuinely putting more good out.
Yes. And I don't know, man. It's really sad to see. But here's James Carville. Do you have the so he's talking about Trump. So Friday he offered a follow-up to these videos I'm going to play for you in a second. He theorized that Melania Trump was speaking about her past nude modeling work to embarrass her husband. Okay. Like, sir, if you said that about anybody else that wasn't Melania or Donald Trump, that they would call you a sexist fucking asshole. How dare you? Yeah. It's sex work now, right? It's not even prostitution anymore. I thought your team cheered this on. Yeah. First off, Melania Trump is a fucking knockout. She's a knockout in her 50s.
That's a pro-Trump, because it's like, yeah, my wife was a nude model that people wanted to see. Like,
for most of us, like, nude modeling, and Melania was like, look, I view it as art. She's a foreigner. A lot of people do. There's no shame in this in Europe. There's some weird shame in the human body. And someone that looks like Melania Trump doing nudity, like, who gives a shit? You'd think they'd be bragging. Here's this beautiful, intelligent woman who posed nude. She took life by the reins herself and did whatever she wanted to do, and fuck you if you don't like it. Like, I don't see, like, first off, why would that embarrass Trump?
Yeah.
You mean my absolute smoking hot 10 of a wife? You got to see
my wife in Penthouse magazine.
The best tits, the best ass. Like, what are you talking about? Trump's been dating foreign supermodels is kind of his bag.
I'm in that ass.
I got in that ass. You can't get in that ass. I'm rich as shit, and I bang. Like, we all know what he is. He declared that Melania hates Donald Trump because he smells like shit. Okay. One of the things we know for sure is Donald John Trump stinks.
There's no possible way he'll ever take a shower. I guess.
In other words, he smells like shit. These are quotes from him. There's any number of people who've reported this to us. And of course, everybody heard him fart in the courtroom. And we've extrapolated from that a belief that the reason it stinks so much is he farts and shits in his pants or whatever. Juicy farts or whatever. That's a quote.
Oh.
And by the way, James Carville also believes this. Do you have the video? Do you have the first video or the second video? I think it was. The Trump shits can't wipe his ass.
There's two of those. There's one that's 10 minutes on YouTube or 3
No,
minutes.
the first, the
Twitter.
smaller one.
Gotcha.
It's like 250 or something.
Yep, got it right here.
Yeah, here we go.
One of the things that we know for sure is Donald John Trump stinks. In other words, he smells like shit.
He stinks.
There's any number of people who have reported this to us. And of course, everybody heard him fart in the courtroom. And we have extrapolated from that a belief
He's like all
that the reason
formal
he
about
stinks
it.
so much is he farts and shits in his pants.
He does.
Well put.
Where do you fart? Out your mouth?
Usually
And
my
I
pants.
just assumed
Yeah.
that we were right, but
It'd be weird if you
there's
shit my
something I
pants.
brought up
Yeah.
that I think requires
I think you shit
scientific
everyone else's
exploration.
pants.
And I'm going to tell y'all right up front, I'm not particularly good
I don't
at
fart my
physics
pants.
or engineering or
I fart my own
STEM
face.
or anything like that. But I think we have to consider
Let's consider this. Okay.
not the fact. We have to consider the possibility. I want to be very careful with
Out
my
with it.
language here.
Yep.
Oh.
Here we go.
That Trump is unable to wipe his ass.
Ah.
Yeah, you heard me.
I did.
It is possible.
It's
that
possible.
this man is incapable of
Goddamn
wiping
tiny
his
hands.
ass.
Can't even reach his ass.
I'm not an engineer. I don't think we need to bring MIT in here.
Okay. Maybe we
With
should.
engineering, but okay, more
Stanford,
biology based.
Yeah.
You know, Carnegie Mellon or something like that.
Carnegie Mellon.
I think this problem could probably be solved at the AP physics high school level. Or
Oh,
maybe
advanced placement
at the
physics.
undergraduate level of physics. And I'm just going to, as I understand the problem is you would have to figure out his arm length. Which I think people can do that pretty good.
I think he'd out.
I think scientists can figure that out.
Yeah.
His fingers about half the size.
Oh, he's got tiny
So if you're gonna wipe
hands.
your ass, you need
His fingers are half
fingers.
this
I
size,
have
just letting you know.
We all have some experience with that. And then you would have to get his estimated diameter
Yeah.
of where he is around his ass.
Around his ass.
And then, of course, I think you have to have that. So let's say the diameter around his ass is 54
I would like to
inches.
know the diameter of Trump's ass.
Well,
Some
you
information I
can't
could
do-
use
you
right
gotta
now.
Pretty
do
sure it's not
half of that,
54,
it's
but, you know.
27. Okay, then you
Arm
got to
length is
take the arm. I mean,
27.
I think he's lost as you get older. I notice you lose certain mobility.
Okay.
In other words, you can't get your hand, your fingers around.
Is he talking about Joe
do the
Biden?
job. And-
Or is he
and
talking
That's
about
what I was
Trump?
going to say. It's like, if I feel like there's a
Because-
candidate who can't wipe his ass, it's Biden.
If
Yeah.
he gets elected and he can't wipe his ass,
Yeah. What do we do?
is a federal employee going to do this for it? Or
Wow.
is maybe a military, maybe some corporal in the Marine Corps, standing guard in front of the White House, maybe
Probably.
I
They
don't
call
know
it
if that's
corporal,
permissible under the
military.
Yeah.
military rules.
The White House, not the Secret
that
Service.
you
The
have to
corporal
wipe
from
the
the
ass of
military.
somebody higher up in the chain of command than you are.
Of course, they wouldn't just hire a nurse, by the way.
How
They would
does-
they would get a corporal from the fucking US military
How
to
does a
wipe
guy
his
in a-
ass.
In a United States Marine Corps hat, tell us that a corporal in the military is who's defending the White House right now, not the Secret Service.
Right. Right. And that if there was a medical issue involving a
Yeah.
president not being able to do it, they wouldn't hire a nurse to do that, a bedside nurse.
I'm pretty
They-
sure
No, but
FDR couldn't wipe his ass.
You see, he got these tiny hands. And so with them tiny hands, he can't quite reach his ass. So we're gonna need someone we're gonna need a Marine to come in here and wipe his ass. We're just saying. Like, dude, you're really going with the insult of his hands are small? Do you know how deluded you have to be at this point?
Yeah.
Should we hear the end of it? Or was that the end of it?
Yeah.
Okay, go
There's
to the
10-minute
next
version.
one. He's on again, and this one's 10 minutes long, so we won't play all of it. But I noticed one thing right away, and it was like, oh, James.
Yep.
Here we are. We're back again. before I get started, I want to address a couple of observations that have been made. I look at the comments from the last Politicon on YouTube.
Right.
And it was very helpful. And I'll get into some of the advice.
Can't even wipe his ass.
About Trump's defecation issues. I like that.
He's not about Trump's asshole again.
And one of...
I like how he switches between like he can't wipe his ass and his defecation issue.
Of observations where, James, this is
we
beneath
extrapolated
you.
that the candidate cannot
you've had
wipe
a
his
long
ass.
career. You should not be talking about something this gross or tawdry.
Yeah.
And
some would say.
Let me explain where I come from. I think humans, just as a result of humanity, have some brand of some expectation that they'll be treated as human beings. Like,
hold on
I
a
wouldn't
second.
do this to Lindsey Graham.
Does it look like he's got a cum rag and a roll of toilet paper for cum sitting there and a pair of tongs?
He does. What the fuck is this?
What the hell is going on James the Raging Cajun just sitting there feverishly beating off? What with his long fingers and all? It looks like he's got a cum rag there. It looks like he's going to...
Is he going to demonstrate how to wipe your ass with tongs?
I don't know. Maybe.
He better, because that's the only positive way I could see this going.
Go ahead and fast forward this a little bit, but
he does.
If you look at this, his fucking fly is open while he's doing this.
Yeah, it is.
There are people
like this guy's gonna rag on
who are crumplers.
He's a clumper.
So he could do this, and he could have some extension. You understand?
Yeah,
so
good
this
one.
Gives him another, for you high school physics students or you MIT engineers, this adds up. Got to be a good 10 inches, I guess. I don't know. You can look and make an evaluation yourself. And then he can actually use that. Now, if he's a crumpler. Now,
if he's
we
a crumpler.
also have people who are very fastidious. And
how much toilet paper do you use, man?
Jesus Christ,
that's a lot.
He's a folder. All right,
yeah, put the toilet paper right on the microphone.
We get the 10-minute joke with your fly open, James. Go to the top one too, which is hilarious. It's just like how out of it these fucking people are, so convinced. And all I can think is you don't have like policy issues that you can lean on that this administration has won with. And so it's just all of it. Because if he was serious, you would go, there are actual credible reports that Joe Biden shit his pants while he was at the Vatican. Why did he change his clothes in the Vatican? It appears that he shit his pants. And we know because Camilla Parker Bowles talked about how it just stunk to high heaven when Joe Biden farted next to her. She said he didn't hide it at all, and he stunk like shit. That actually happened. So, but no, we're gonna go at Trump. Trump shits his pants, and he can't wipe his ass anymore. Here he is losing it to. I believe he's probably talking about Jesse Waters from Fox News here.
All right.
Governor Tim has called them weird, and that doesn't nearly describe this.
Yeah, J.D. Vance.
So I have a message to Jesse and of the whole freak show is why don't you take a tampon and shove it right up your ass? Because that's where it goes, right up your ass.
Should I wipe first?
Oh, maybe you could stick it in your mouth, and maybe you could take a used one and stick it in your mouth and suck on it. That's what you do. You suck. Thank you, and good night. Governor Tim is called
suck. You can take a used one and suck on it. You suck. Governor Walsh has been calling J.D. Vance weird, and that don't even cover it. That don't even. He's so weird. What? The way he came from absolutely nothing, garbage human being, no father, with a drug-addicted mother, and then went right into the course, Semper Fi, right out of high school, before putting himself through Yale Law School, and then becoming an entrepreneur, an author, best-selling author, and then becoming a United States congressman. This guy is weird.
Yeah.
We can't even state it enough how weird he is. Pulling them up by their bootstraps and gaining the American dream. He weird. Why don't you stick that tampon where it belongs, in your ass? What is he talking about? Trans women? Is that where trans women stick a tampon? Right up their asshole. Stick it right up your asshole. Why don't you take a used one and stick it in your mouth and suck on it? Because you know why? Because you suck. Good one.
I thought it was funny when FMJR, I put the comment up for a second, I'll do it again, but I think Carvel's going to lose his mind when he figures out what a bidet is.
A bidet? Yeah. Dude, by the way, those Japanese toilets.
We got one in our house. I love them.
I can't wait. I'm putting one in here.
Thing, but we got the attachment whole thing set up. It's
They're
nice.
fantastic.
That'll
get covered because he got them tiny hands. See, he got them tiny hands and can't wipe his ass. So instead of having a Marine Corps corporal do it for him,
gotta have a robot.
We get him a bidet. We get him a nice bidet.
One of them
and
toilet
if you don't
robots.
like that, you could take a tampon, a used one, and stick it in your asshole or your mouth and suck on it.
Don't forget to wipe first.
Well, it should be entertaining. Again, it won't move the needle no matter what happens tonight, but it should be fun. I hope they ask some real questions. I really do. I think we lose out when they don't ask real questions. Yeah. Not that it matters. I'm believing less and less that everybody that talks about these people on the fence. There's all these people on the fence, these fucking mongoloids who apparently haven't been alive the last fucking 9 years. I just don't believe they exist. So I just don't. And I know there's a lot of really stupid Americans, stupid Americans, and ones that don't pay that much attention. So you can't negate that. But I just think this is so not normal what's going on in this country, and people that are young might not understand that. And if you've only been alive long enough for where you've been sort of an adult for 9 years, and this is all you know, just rest assured, this is so not normal. No. The way these people are behaving, the way they're freaking out about this stuff, it's fucking crazy.
Close it with Ron's comment here. Just if ignorance is bliss, this guy's living in the Garden of Eden.
Yeah. No, it's they're out there pushing any narrative they can. Make these guys creepy and weird and almost dead, like whatever they can say, because they can't. Again, see through that and see it for what it is. Because if the economy was really cooking, and don't give me the stock market bullshit. Yeah. If your grocery prices, if your gas prices, if that day-to-day living was killing it, if I didn't go to Taco Bell, get a burrito and a nacho supreme, and it was $16, all of that shit that you're living, and I'm not saying a president controls the prices at Taco Bell, but all of it combined. You can point back to policies, energy policies. You can blame COVID. If all of that stuff was killing it, that's what they'd be telling you. They wouldn't bother going in the dirt, trying to act like this guy's shit his pants, probably can't even wipe his ass. They wouldn't be doing that. They wouldn't be calling JD Vance weird overnight. Here's the new thing. We're going to call him weird. They wouldn't be doing that. That's not how these people would be behaving if they had real shit to get behind that they could put teeth into, that they could really get behind. They wouldn't act like abortion's the only thing on people's minds in this country.
Yeah.
It's a problem in that, the way stories are given to us in a lot of respects now are what we favor. And fighting that is tough because, if I search the Detroit Lions or the Detroit Tigers or something like that, it's going to go, oh, this guy wants to read about that. And they're going to send him that. And so I see people that are hardcore about abortion, and that's all they read on Facebook. That's all. And so the algorithm is feeding that, and it makes them believe that's the biggest story in the country. It's the only thing people care about. It's the only thing people could possibly vote on. And it's like, no, it's just not the case. It's not even in the top 5.
Yep.
It's just not. So people are way more concerned about their electric bills, their grocery bills.
I'm concerned.
The report that came out from ICE last week that said 500,000 convicted felons were in this country over the last few years, including 13,000 murderers, 15,000 rapists. convicted in their country.
Oh, you want to get scarier?
It's terrifying.
Russia just had Russia's back in Iran, and Iran just had a successful attack on Tel Aviv, the capital of Israel, and everyone's claiming World War III just broke out.
Yeah, it might have, dude. I
think
saw
it just
that.
did. So it's about to get weird.
I had to check out because I don't know enough about that stuff that I'm not going to come out here and bloviate, but I do know enough about the media. I do know enough about comedy. I do know enough about these politicians to know how they should behave, how they normally behave, and what they're doing. I know what they're doing. And I also want people to know that they're not going crazy. You're not going crazy when you listen to people. You can still, I listen to shit tons of liberals. I listen to their talking points. I listen to their arguments. Can you say that about your liberal friends?
None I know.
I guarantee you can't. You cannot. They're not listening to you, which is why I don't think these things matter like tonight. Because anybody, from the anecdotal evidence I do, these people are not interested in having a discussion. And we've seen it from all of these protests that we've seen around the country. You're not having rational conversations with people. You saw it the freak out time, with the Women's March and when Trump was elected in 2016, and these people lost their mind. Hashtag not my president. Like they
were all trying to flee to Canada.
Yeah, right. All right, let's do an email or two and get out of here. We went a little long today since we weren't able to be here yesterday. Gary, the dead body expert on power lines. Holy fuck. The power line issue. Yeah, we are deep in this. What is this going on 2-3 weeks now?
Let's go. Let's see where we're at.
Okay, I'm reading this mostly for you, Garrett. You know that, right? Because I don't even give a shit anymore.
It's a debate.
It is. Mike, I know this is getting far too nerdy. Yeah, it is. But I need to follow up on this as I am seriously doubting Gary, the dead body expert, on power lines' actual expertise. So first it was the lines need to be in the air for cooling. That was debunked to his admission. His story, he changed his story from, hey, it's cooler in the summer sky than the ground to as the lines heat up. Oh, okay, hold on. He changed his story from, hey, it's cooler in the summer sky than the ground to as the lines heat up, they expand. I am paraphrasing. And you wrote that sentence like shit. Yeah. I agree. As many materials heat and cool, they expand and contract. While I admitted in my previous email, I'm no power line expert. I am an expert in how materials react to temperature. I spent 13 years of my engineering career utilizing this knowledge. For instance, if my calculations are correct, a copper wire that is 1,000 feet long would expand close to 3 inches when heated from 0 to 250 degrees. So this expansion and contraction needs to be accounted for. Here's my problem with Gary. All right, Gary, he's going to get Gary's go here. I know it. Here's my problem with Gary, the dead body expert on power lines. First, if the issue is not actually cooling, why mention it? Second, it's pretty obvious we can design a system to account for this expansion and contraction as it's done everywhere. Also, underground lines will likely never see a 250-degree change in temp, thus reducing the amount of expansion and contraction. I also have anecdotal experiences. I have a home near Houghton, Michigan. Yes, that Houghton you have yet to visit. This home sits right on the beach of Lake Superior. Ooh, that sounds kind of dope.
That is very nice.
It is subject to winds in excess of 60 miles per hour regularly. Has seen winters with over 300 inches of snow. Inches of snow. Weather is an issue here. You know what rarely happens? Power outages. I bet you can guess where the lines are. Underground. Ooh. My home in Lapeer, where the lines run through the woods overhead, is 10 times the number of outages. Seems like a lot of folks' anecdotal evidence would add up to be less than anecdotal. Sorry for the nerd rant. Ted, obviously not Ken, whoever that is. Oh, I'm sorry if I called you Ken last time. Sorry, Ted. No, that's my anecdotal evidence says the same thing. The power lines were above my house in Franklin all the time and in Berkeley, and those are the places I lost power. Places I've been in California and Arizona where they're buried, they never lose power. Unless Gavin Newsom turns it off on purpose. That's the only time.
I was going to say, fuck the vice president debate. I want the debate of Gary and Ted.
Right.
Like, let's just get this live.
Oh, they'll go at it. They're outspoken.
Oh, yeah.
Power lines and HOA from Randy. Jesus. When you get on the right topic for nerds, they go at it. Mike, I've been living at my house down here in South Carolina for 30. Before I do that email, I did want to mention, because this is only a few days long.
Okay.
Bear with me. I got an email from Dawn at My Pillow.
Gotcha.
And it says, a large retail store just canceled a huge order, leaving MyPillow with a ton of extra MyPillows. But you know what? That's their loss and your gain.
Isn't this what he got called racist for?
Did he?
Yeah, so his deal when he slashed the prices, just the way the percentages worked, it came out to $14.88, which everyone said was a Nazi dog whistle.
Oh my God.
And he intentionally did it to be a Nazi dog whistle.
Yeah. I was waiting. Trump was giving a speech the other day and he had multiple American flags behind him. And they were like, they weren't like extended flags. They were just hanging, draped like, and the flags were overlapping like this. And the way they were laying made it look like the red bars made the shape of an S. And I was like, oh, someone's going to look into that and think it's fucking the SS. Real. Holy shit. Yeah, it was just the way that the drapes were, the flag was draped.
It was literally just the way he cut his percentage. The percentage came out to $14.88.
That's hilarious. Yes, for one of them. So yeah, you know what? There's their loss, your gain. For the first time ever, you will get a standard classic MyPillow for wholesale prices. $14.88.
Hell yeah.
But it gets even better. For a limited time, they're going to offer their entire classic collection at wholesale prices. Get queen size MyPillows for just $18.88. Upgrade to king size for only $1 more. That's fucking outrageous, dude.
Fuck yeah.
These things were $100 a pillow.
Yeah, I'm buying some tonight.
Get the body pillows for $29.88 and multi-use MyPillows for only $9.88. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TDC to take advantage of wholesale pricing for the first time ever and receive free shipping on orders over $75. That's right. Get the standard MyPillow for only $14.88. Racists apparently might want to do that.
Keep in mind, Christmas is 2 months away.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
Absolutely. Dude, and the sheet, you can't go wrong with the sheets. No. The Giza sheets are the shit. They just are. So,
yeah. Shit the sheets, though.
Let's see. They have never been offered this low before. They're limited quantities at this price. So the limit is going to be 10. Once they're gone, they're gone. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TDC to get the standard MyPillow for only $14.88, the lowest price ever.
Yep.
All right.
The Nazi dog whistle price.
Yeah.
And shout out to Mike Lindell, by the way, who's a total champion about this. He posted a picture of him with the price in front, the $14.88, just in the thumbs up, like from his own screenshot. Yeah. He knew people were making fun of him. He's like, it's just the way the fucking percentage went, but fuck it. Here you go.
Look, man, when you're comfortable in your own skin, when you know who you are, you don't. He literally just put it out there.
He put it out there. He's like, have your fun with this one. I don't even care.
And the psychology works out. Look, most people try to hide their past discretions, like, I was a crackhead. This guy bragged about it in books, in interviews. He didn't give a fuck. It was just like, yeah, it is what it is, man. I went through my shit. I was a huge crackhead, did stupid shit, almost died. Like, hilarious. Yeah. And he's the same way with this. Oh, he'll just lean into it. I have respect for that kind of those kind of people. So I've been living in my house down in South Carolina for 13 years. And since all our power lines are underground, we have only had one power outage the whole time. This was because my neighbor drove her car into the transformer on our street. Whoever is a proponent of not burying the lines is an idiot. As for HOAs, yes, they are an abomination due to power tripping people. Yes, duh. It just makes sense. Walmart greeters will give you shit if you don't walk in the right way. Like anybody gets a little bit of power, they wield it. It's why you got to keep powerful people in check. They turn into P. Diddy, right?
Yep.
They start Meek Milling people, for fuck's sakes.
Oh, God.
They're an abomination due to power tripping assholes, but they do some good also. For instance, my neighbor can't store his boat in the front yard of his quarter-acre lot. I became the vice president in our HOA because nobody wanted to do it. Chances are, if you live in a non-retiree neighborhood, they need people badly. When I got there, I saw we were fining people hundreds of dollars for minimal problems. One person had a $600 fine over time because their mailbox needed painting. First thing I did was stop the fines, get the problem fixed, and bill the homeowner. Problem solved. My point is that if someone, not you, doesn't like their HOA, run for the board and make the changes you want. Cheers, Randy.
That's
I'm not running for any. I don't give a shit enough, but it's.
But if you do like me, if I lived in an HOA, I'd probably try and get involved.
Yeah.
Even if it was just screaming at them anytime I saw them in their yard, I'd start yelling at them for any violation I could.
I just don't understand people like, what are they doing over there? Like someone
I
got
hate
mad
that.
at, someone reported us. So G bought this basketball net. He and Marshall will shoot hoops. It's really nice, but it's movable.
Yeah.
But it's like one of the glass backward. I mean, it's fucking high end, but it's not attached to a pole or the house.
Yeah.
So you can move it.
Tuck it away
So-
when you need to.
Yeah. So we're in the desert and there's cactus around everywhere. So you have to be very careful about where you set them because errant shots are going to hit those cactuses and they explode. The ball pops. So you want as much space as you can get so you can track a ball down. So the way we had a position was like the driveway's kind of windy and it tucks back to the house because there's a little bit of land here. So you're not on top of each other. So it's almost hard to see you from the street, see the house. This basketball net is in the driveway. Well, apparently by HOA law, by rule, it needs to be facing this way on the garage so that when you drive by, the way you see it, you can't see it that well.
Because God forbid a kid has a basketball hoop and like sports.
And so someone complained to the HOA that their basketball net's not facing the right way. And it's like, I look around and I'm just like, how would you even see that? You'd literally have to be trespassing on the property to look and be like, that's supposed to be facing 50 degrees south. Like, who does that?
See, I'm not one to get involved with the HOA, but I'd be the first person to find an HOA violation on one of the people who are involved and just stand in the fucking road in front of their house and scream at them.
Yeah, it's
totally legal. Just,
it's nuts to me. It's nuts. And people make the same argument that Randy just did. Like, I don't want some guy that with his fucking yacht on his 1/4-acre property. Like, I get it. We all think worst case scenario. Nobody wants to live, in the Sanford and Son junkyard house.
Yeah.
No one wants that. No one wants someone to be able to paint their fucking house hot pink. And it's like, but those are rare. It's not going to happen in a neighborhood like this. I get it why you would want that. But what it turns into is their basketball net's facing the wrong direction. That's what it turns into.
The extreme on both sides.
You're not supposed to have yellow bulbs at night outside. They're supposed to be white bulbs. And there's a yellow one. Like,
that's so
fuck off. Dumb. There's contractors there past 6 p.m. They're supposed to be out of here by 6 p.m. Like shit like that. You're like,
one of the coolest things about my neighborhood is the fact that everybody all year round just has the new LED bulbs where they can change the color of them anywhere. So it's like you walk around the neighborhood, it looks like a party everywhere at night.
Yeah.
This guy's got purple. This one's got green. State's in the lead today, so here's a green and white light set up. This guy's got blue and yellow because he's his neighbor and rival or whatever. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's your house.
It just doesn't bother me. I mean, there's just such a big difference between the guy that's going to put a fridge and a broken down car in his front lawn versus, people that have the wrong color bulbs or the basketball nets that's fucking movable is facing the wrong direction. Like, dude, what is wrong in your world that you give a shit? And I'll be honest with you. I was talking to G. I'm like, I haven't even noticed another person's house. I just ghost them. They don't exist to me. I don't give a shit what you're doing. You could be filming porn on your in front of your house. I wouldn't even know.
Not my business.
Not my business. I don't give a shit what you're doing.
Yep.
Who gives a shit? People need to. Just crazy. Humans are weird. All right, buddy. We went 2 hours. Let's wrap it up.
Yep.
We got the debate starting here in an hour and 20 minutes. Tigers won today. Lions won last night. This is some dynamite plays for the Lions. Maybe we'll get I'll try and get Henson on tomorrow. Talk about maybe get his take on the Tigers, the Lions, the debate, all that kind of stuff. He's good for that kind of thing. So I'll reach out to him and see if we can get that. And Garrett, you'll obviously be here. We will do it again tomorrow. If you want to email the show, Walters@Detroit.